When you're learning German, you can only exploit your results if you have a very good learning technique. The question is, when are you finally going to use it? When you were always looking for a way to learn the German grammar in a creative way without getting frustrated, but you're not willing to spend even more money on even more courses or grammar books, then you'll find the information on this website the most valuable of its kind. Dear student of German. And the following also regards teachers of German. Does the following sound familiar to you? A. Every day your teacher explains new grammar rules, and when you're studying at home you feel overburdened because you have no idea how you're going to learn all these rules. A. You're afraid to make a conversation in German because you make too many mistakes and you don't want to look stupid. A. You really don't know how you can learn to use the correct article with each noun in a lasting way. A. You still don't understand the declension of the adjectives. A. You live, work or study in Germany and therefore you want to master the language, but you think, I won't be able to do it because it's so difficult to learn the grammar. A. Often you lay in your bed and feel frustrated and lonely because it's all chaos in your head due to the lack of a comprehensible system. A. The learning assistance of your teacher consists of the expression, you simply have to learn this. A. Every month you transfer money for your course of German, but you have the impression you don't make much progress. A. You already spent a lot of money on German textbooks or software, but somehow they don't offer anything new. A. You don't have a definite answer to the question, how do you actually learn the German grammar rules? When you find yourself in one of the situations above, I can tell you you're not the only one. The same happened to most of my students, until I finally found the most important clue, which until then was still missing, for learning German with a maximum result. In 2000, when I started teaching German as a foreign language in Berlin, at first I was very proud that I was the person in my students' life to explain the complicated German grammar to them. But somehow I noticed that the subject matter continuously extended and that most of the time there was no logic in the rules. My students used to say it with a confused expression, yes, I understand, but when more and more students started to ask, how should we learn all this, it became clear that there is nothing to understand about German grammar. Most of it is abstract and illogical, you simply have to learn those rules by heart. At that time I wasn't able to give any better advice than you simply have to learn it by heart either. This was a pretty unsatisfying situation, both for my students and myself. To be bombarded with rules without a powerful learning technique results in more frustration. This insight haunted me, but I just didn't know how I could help my students in an effective way until one day I had a crucial experience. I participated in a workshop on mnemotechnics. To put it roughly, it involves mental techniques to build a supermemory. I admit that it sounds a bit suspicious, but I just wanted to know what it was all about. In short, it was absolutely crazy. How I all of a sudden could remember all sorts of things effortlessly. As from the moment I started to use my fantasy while learning, I suddenly could memorize the most stupid things without any effort, and this in a lasting way. I was beside myself with joy. Finally I had found the holy grail for learning German. I knew, when I would be able to further develop the principles of mnemotechnics specifically for the learning of German, a whole new level would be reached. And I decided this would be my ultimate mission. You'll probably think this seems a bit exaggerated, but it depicts very well my fanatic obsession to bring my ideas to reality. I couldn't concentrate on anything else, my head was flooded with ideas. Fortunately, the school director supported me from the start, because he was as positive about my ideas as I was myself. And of course he also considered the benefits it would bring for the school. So I developed a similar seminar, but then specifically for students of German. We announced the date for a test seminar, and after 2 days it was already fully booked with 30 students. Bam! My idea was a huge success indeed. Our students were not just interested, they were absolutely enraptured with the learning techniques. This is no surprise since on average they all improved by approximately 72% when learning the subject matter of the German articles. Now, I must admit that some students were also dismayed. They asked, why didn't we learn to know these techniques earlier? Others asked if there existed a book on the techniques, but unfortunately I always had to answer this question with no. The seminar took root and became a permanent part of the school program, and the wave of enthusiasm grew steadily, and so did the demand for a book. Okay, right, I said to myself, you've written a scientific work about this phenomenon for the Technical University in Berlin, why wouldn't you write a step-by-step tutorial about mnemotechnics for German as a foreign language for your students? But what had I let myself in for? It soon became a mammoth project. I worked with a professional illustrator and got more and more ideas. My ebook is finally ready and the result bears me out. It's innovative. It's the future. It's the right way. Shortly I'll give you more details of what matters when you're learning German and of what my ebook, Learning German Grammar with Mnemonics, consists. Now, I can understand very well that up till now you were desperate, because your progress was too slow or because in your head there was an ever-growing chaos instead of a method. But there is hope. With the right learning techniques you will be able to improve your results significantly. You'll even find that learning German can be fun, no kidding. Then the times of learning somehow haphazardly will be gone, instead you'll rely on very specific techniques, which enable you to learn certain grammar rules in a purposeful and structural way. You'll perceive in your own mind how you will be able to recall all the rules from your memory at the particular moment you need them. And honestly, it certainly is not your fault that until now you didn't make the expected progress in learning German. After having spoken to hundreds of students, I would maintain that it is normal. In your German language courses and books, no attention has been paid to the way you would learn everything. 99,9% of the teachers simply don't know these techniques. Before I'll explain you everything about my new ebook, Learning German with Mnemotechnics, allow me to show you shortly what the main principle of these learning techniques is, and to what they lead. Here is how students of German are enabled to learn the German articles 72% better. How it works? Very simple. We simply have to take all the commonplaces seriously. A picture tells 1000 words. The trick of mnemotechnics consists of creating images where there wasn't an image before. For instance, when learning the German articles. And it works like this. For every article we use a symbol. For the article der we'll use something male, for instance a lion. It could of course also be a man or else something that you like. In my example I use a lion for the article der, and then it looks like this. Now, when you want to learn for example der Stuhl, the chair, you just imagine that the lion bites the chair. You can create another image, of course. The only important thing is that the lion does something with the chair and not just stands beside it. For example, in my course I use the following image. Der Stuhl. I'm pretty sure that you see the difference at first glance. You'll remember the image a lot easier than the two words der Stuhl, which simply is too abstract and easy to forget. Are you still skeptical? Well, maybe you are, and that's all right, but I can assure you the following. When you use a symbol for every article, you will be able to learn the articles a lot better. Here you see actual statistics from my courses on the articles, and until now there hasn't been one course where it didn't work. Probably now you ask, who? Is it that simple then? Yes, it surely is as simple as that.